Okay, live streaming. I even have a webcam set this time. It's not a very good webcam. I think I paid $10 for it 7, 8 years ago. It's the only webcam I have besides the ones built in my laptop, but I'm using my desktop. But at least you can kind of see me. It's probably going to go in and out of focus a lot. But at points where I'm just talking, it's kind of dark in here, but oh well. So this is me. Okay, so my daughter's birthday is her birthday party's coming up in less than 2 weeks, and it's going to be a astronaut theme party. This picture quality is horrible. Anyway, picture quality. Her birthday is going to be a astronaut theme party, and we have lots of things planned. And originally I was thinking about trying to make her some sort of space station, and I thought, okay, I'm going to build this big old thing, and it's going to be used once and never again. So I kind of scaled it down, and it turned into, let's see, and I have videos coming up on my second channel about this, a arcade controller. And let me plug this into my computer real quick. So, as you'll see in the video where I create this, it has an ESP8266 chip in it. Again, sorry about the focusing. And as soon as it connects to my Wi-Fi, it's going to start scrolling a message. And the default message is Ember to mission control, since this is supposed to be a space station thing. And it's spray painted silver paint, kind of hard to tell. The buttons are light up arcade buttons. And since it's using an ESP chip, I can connect to this through Wi-Fi and update the messages to it. And I can also, since I'm going to be creating games for her, space-themed games, I can have those games send HTTP requests to the screen and change it depending on what she's doing. And what I'm going to work on tonight is I plan on making a few different little, very simple little games for her to play with this, but it can be programmed for any game. But today, right now, I'm just going to start throwing together one basic scene of an astronaut flying around in outer space that she can control with the joystick here and with the button presses. And again, this is, when I plug this in the computer, it's detected as a generic gamepad or game controller. So, and it's all powered through USB, both the buttons and the ESP8266. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I don't have a lot of time, but I feel like I can get a decent little scene done using Phaser, Phaser 2D. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to github.com/MelX1000. I'm going to say create a new repository, and here I am going to create one. I'll just call it Ember. I'm not sure if I can have apostrophes in there, so Ember's Space Mission, and it just will be a collection of simple space games in HTML5. And we'll create a README file, and I'll do this as a GPL version 3. Create. And then I'm going to copy that and open up a terminal screen here. So let's see. I'm going to go into my folder where I have my web server set up, and I'll git clone that, type in my super secret passphrase, and move into my Ember's Space Mission. Now I have a script that I created a while back. Let me up my font a little bit here for you guys. And it creates a very basic Phaser template that I created, and it's called make underscore Phaser. And it's kind of outdated, so actually the version of Phaser that it's pulling down is probably outdated, but we'll see if I need to update for anything I need to do today. So now I can list this out, and you can see we have an index file, a CSS folder, a JavaScript folder, a resource folder with some subfolders in it, and under the JS folder we have our JavaScript, our Phaser, and the main, which is what we're going to edit. So I'm going to go vim.js main, and here's our basic setup. It has some default music and stuff. I'm going to, for now, just because I'm doing a video, I'm going to turn off the music, but I'll probably put some ambient music in the background later. And then here it starts loading up an image, a default image. I think I have a Tux image that loads up. But let's get an image that we're going to use. So there's two images I'm going to need. I'm going to need a a space background and an astronaut. So let's just go space. On Google image search, I'm going to go search tools, and I'm just going to say for reuse. And I'm not going to look too much into it because, again, this is just for my daughter. But if I was creating a big project, I'd make sure that the Google search really was bringing up proper things. So let's do this one with the moon and the earth here. In fact, I might change it later. Right now I'm just going to do the very basics, but I could... it would be cool to have like the stars kind of scrolling slowly in the background, and maybe the sun, moon, and earth kind of moving slowly, but probably not going to do that. It'd be cool to do, but just keep things simple. I'm going to save this image, and I'm going to go to here where our project is, and under images I'm just going to type in space. Oops, up here. Space.jpg. Next, we're going to do a search. I'll just type in astronaut. And there's one. This one will make it real easy to cut out the background. Looks like the same exact one as that, but with the background already cut out. Awesome. So I'll probably resize it and rotate it just to save on pixel space. Let's go ahead and save as, and we'll put this under sprites. And we'll call it astro.png. Next, I'll open up GIMP, and I'm going to go to our resources, images. There's the default image that I had for my little template, and we'll open up the space one. And I will also open up our sprites of astronaut. And I will rotate him back up straight. You know what? Let's not do that yet. Let's transform him and make him 200 pixels. Let's make him 200 pixels on the longest side. It doesn't have to be very big for a game like this. Then I will rotate him, straighten him out. And Shift-C to crop. See, people are joining us in the chat room here. Hey dude, can't stay long, but I will catch up if it is available later on. Cool. Thanks, David Watts, for stopping by. And so yeah, there's our little astronaut, and I will export him. It was nice that he already had a transparent background. Now, this image, we want to make sure fits our background properly. So what I'm going to do here is, let me go back in my script here. So my default little setup for our game here is 1280 by 720. And so let's just scale this up. Do I want to make it proportionate? Let's see how much it stretches out for 1280 by 720. I bet it's going to stretch it a lot. Yeah, that's not very good. So let's see. Let's do this. Let's scale the image along the longest side. Let's make it 720. And here we'll scale that. And now we'll crop the layer. Canvas size is what I mean. And we're going to crop this down to 480, I think, right? If I'm doing this correctly in my head. And let's, should turn that off. Sorry about that. Mute notifications for 1 hour. Okay. There we go. And in fact, I'm even going to now scale it down because I don't really need this to be super high res. Let's do percentage, and let's make it 50% that. And I think that's right. So I think if I export that now, let's see, so 1280, so if I multiply that by 3, right, 1280? Yeah, by 720. So yeah, if I multiply that by 3, I think that'll be right, or at least close enough. Let's close out GIMP now, and let's load those images up. So we're going to put in our preload here. Oops. Image, we'll call one of these space, and the other one, so and then this will be space.jpg, and here sprites Astro, and we'll call that image in our game, that object, or that image in this case, Stro. And then down here under our preset area, we're going to change our image to be space, and let's do another one for Astro, space, Astro, and space we want to be up in the top left corner, and we're going to go here for our space background. We're going to scale it up, as I said, I think 3 times will be right, and our astronaut we put in the center, and we'll set his anchor to his middle section, so when he's rotating, he rotates around his center. And so that's good, and oh, but we do want to fix this, or not space, Astro, music muted, game goes full screen. Okay, so now with that saved, I should be able to go here, go to my local host, to that folder, Ember Space Mission, and there we go. We've got our astronaut loaded up on the screen there. If I click it, it goes full screen. Yet it doesn't go. I thought I scaled it right to match. I guess I didn't. We'll work on resizing the background image in a little. But let's get to the programming part. Someone else joined us. You call the astronaut sprite oh, did I? And I Did I type that somewhere? The code seems to be loading okay. Sorry, I'm reading comments here. List. Resources, images. Space, or list, resources, sprites. The file's named right. So, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but everything's loading fine now. So, let's go ahead and start working on this in the code a little bit. And so what I'm going to do here is I am going to go to here, I'm going to go to Phaser.io examples, and there's a lot of examples here, and I'm definitely going to need help with the gamepad part of this because there's a lot of gamepad options. So let me go here to this gamepad debugging and make sure it detects my homemade game controller here. Let me bring up my picture here. Hi again. Okay, so here's the game controller. For those of you who may have not been here at the beginning, this is a game controller I've made for my daughter's birthday, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. When you plug it in through USB, it is detected as a default gamepad, and the buttons light up when you press them. And this little screen here is controlled by an ESP8266, so I can change that message with HTTP requests at any time, which the little game we're making, I'm probably not going to do it in tonight, or I guess I could, but I can make that message change. I can have the game send different messages to it. So let's go ahead and click Start Input, and there we go. So it's detecting it. We got axis. Let me bring my picture up here. So Well, I guess I can't. Can I? I was hoping you'd be able to see me. Here we go. Okay. So, up and down is axis 0 on this controller, and when you watch the video of me making this, which again will come up on my second channel in a couple of weeks, I have a couple of videos on this, I had to turn the controller. So in most games, what I have is up and down will be left and right. But you can usually reprogram the keyboard or the controller to work wherever. So, and then left and right is axis 2 on this. Then we've got button 2, button 1, button 3, button 0, 4, and 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Going around like that. 4 and 5. So what I want to do is I want to have a button that makes the astronaut rotate in an opposite direction, and then have the controller move him around, and then have a second button that speeds him up, kind of like a booster. So let's go ahead and work on that in the code. Okay, let's see, go here, let's swap these around. And what I'm going to do for a lot of this, I'm going to hit F12 and have my console open down here, because that's going to help me troubleshoot stuff as I'm working on this code. So, let's see. What screen do I want? I want this screen. Here we go. Vim.js main. And let's add some variables that we know we're going to need. We're going to want a variable for our gamepad. We'll call it pad1. We'll get a variable for the astronaut's rotation. We're going to, so I'll just call that RO for rotation. And we'll say 0.5 for the speed, but we might change that if we want him to rotate faster or slower. And then for his speed, we'll say 1. And then we're also going to give him a boost. And we will set it to 0 because we want no boost at first. And then we'll play around with the speeds of this later on. So we create some variables. That doesn't change the game at all at this point. Our update function, that is where we're going to put a lot of our code here, because it's what's going to update. But under our create, again, we have creating our images, placing them, setting the anchor point for one and resizing the other. But we're going to change that a little bit. In fact, well, no, I'll worry about resizing that background later. Plus, I made the resolution kind of small. It's kind of pixelated. I might undo that. I might go grab the original image again. Then I like having my games, like, I want them to be played full screen. So when you click it, it will go full screen unless you have your console open like that. You can also have a button on the gamepad or whatever, but which I might do since my daughter won't be working with a mouse. Yeah, we'll look into that. So let's go ahead and go back in here, and let's initialize our gamepad. So if we go to the Phaser website, and we'll just pick this basic gamepad here, which right now with my game controller, let's see. Yeah, so I can move them around, and let's see if any of the button, oh, that button rotates them a little bit. Oh, and one of the buttons, oh wait, one of the buttons, yeah, this one seems to make it larger. So a lot of our functionality is in this example here, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. So just quickly looking at here, we're going to want to copy this. And it's great. The examples on the Phaser website are great for just, you know, a lot. And most of what you want to do, you're going to want in there. Next, we're going to add in pad1, which we create the variable globally above. But now we're going to set our game input dot gamepad dot pad1. So this is saying, you know, look at our Phaser functions, find an input that's a gamepad, the first one, and we're just calling it this. Otherwise, we'd have to type this out every time we want to call it in the rest of our code. We're not going to do that. Okay, next let's go to our update function, and I'm going to want our astronaut to constantly rotate. So I'm going to say astro.angle, and we're going to take whatever its current angle is, and we're going to rotate it so much more, and it will be our variable from above of RO. So now if we go back to the game and refresh it, there we go. Without us doing anything, we have no control over this now, but the player, the astronaut, is rotating. So now let's set it so that when we hit a button on the keyboard, it starts moving the opposite direction. So if we come down to our console here, I can type in pad 1, and I hit enter, and it will give us all our options for our gamepad that we just created in an array type format. And I believe pad 1 dot button, so button value, and we give it a button input. So let me pick a button on our keyboard here. Let's go back to the Phaser website over here and go to this debugging program. And if I start this up and I press the button that I want, so here we see the button that I want to use to rotate is called button, it is labeled 1. So button code 1 right there. And it will be 0 or 1, whether it's push or not, which is also known as true or false. So if I go back into my code here, I should be able to, before that, I'm going to say an if-then statement. So I'm going to say if pad1 dot button, and this is case sensitive, value, and we're going to give it what I think I said 1. So button 1. What are we going to do? We're going to take whatever RO equals and set it to itself times -1. So any number, any positive number times -1 will make it that same number but negative. And if it's a negative number, it'll make it positive. So each time we press this button, it's going to rotate the other way. This isn't the cleanest way of doing it. We should do some other if-then configuration in here, because right now it's going to be looping over and over again, so it may or may not. Well, you'll see. Let's see what happens. So here, he's F5 to refresh. He's rotating, and if I press that button, there you go. So you see, he kind of vibrates a little bit, and sometimes he doesn't always rotate the other way. It's for my daughter. You know, if this was an actual game, I'd want to put a little more effort into it, but I'm trying to keep it simple because I'm going to create a number of these scenes for my daughter. So yeah, pressing that button, if you press it quick, it works. If you hold it down too long, he kind of vibrates and then goes off in one of the directions. You don't know which one it's going to be until you let go. But simple setup. Well, let's see, we got some other people in here. Someone, I guess, that speaks Italian. My last name's Acapinti. Eyes painted. That's the only Italian I know. A few people saying hi. I need to work on my next upload so I can watch video later. Oh, someone else saying they're going to watch this video later. Yeah, cool. I'm just doing this. Again, I'm trying to just get into the swing of doing some live videos. So, had something to do tonight, so I'm working on this project live. So yeah, so that's simple enough. We got the rotate feature. We already got our first, control done. So let's see. What do we want to do next? So next, let's start controlling the movement of our astronaut. So we're going to create another if-then statement. It'll be if, again, pad 1, and we'll set it do something. We're going to say if pad 1, a certain value is set a different way, we're going to have it turn or move a certain way. And what we're going to have our astronaut, so astro dot x-axis, which should be left and right, and we're going to say plus equals speed, which we set above, and we're going to say else if pad 1, again we're going to have to put something else in there in a second because it's just saying pad 1, that doesn't mean anything at this point. That's just our gamepad. Astro dot x minus equals speed. And so now we have to get the axes. So let's again, I've already forgotten come here, and left and right is axes 2, up and down is axes 1. And we're going to get a value of -1 or +1 if it's in any direction. If the joystick is centered, it's going to be 0. So axes 2 is left and right. So if we come in here, what I want to do is say dot axes, which axes 2. And if it equals 1, we're going to go in one direction. And if the axes, that same axes, or axis, I guess, I'm saying it kind of funny, axis, yes. If that equals -1, go the other direction. So let's see how that goes. If I typed it all right and we refresh our page here, I can go left. Oh, no, I did it backwards. So let me rotate those numbers around. We'll make this 1 and this -1. Save it, refresh it. Left, right. Let's get the up and down, and then we'll work on the boost, because he moves kind of slow. And again, I'm not going to work on too many sounds right now because I'm recording a video, but I'm going to end up adding a lot of sounds, sound effects, ambient backgrounds, maybe get some booster sounds offline and stuff. So that's left and right. And we should comment stuff, so move left and right. And then we're actually going to do I'm just going to cheat and copy and paste. And we'll say move up and down. And that was axis 0, I believe, axis 0. And so we're going to do that and then change this from his X to his Y. And let's see if I did that in the right order. Up. Nope, I did that backwards. So real quick, we'll just there we go. So left, right, up, down, coming along good. And every once in a while I should save this, so let me first commit. So if you guys want to go to GitHub now, the code we have so far is up on GitHub. Okay, so let's see. Let's work on the boost now. And let's see, anyone saying anything? Nope, no new messages in the chat. So what we're going to do now, going back into our code, is our boost is set to 0. So what we want to do is down here in our code, we're going to say, here we're saying if button 1. So I think that it's button 3 that I want. So I'm going to say if button 3 value is true, so if button 3 is being pressed, else if, and here we're going to change our boost, which is a variable that's by default set to 0, we'll set that to 2. And if the button's not being pressed, we'll set it back to 0. So that, but now we need to add that into our speeds here. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to say, okay, left and right movements, and same with up and down, equal your speed plus the boost. So if the boost is set to 0, it's not going to affect the speed at all. But if the speed is set to 2, it's going to move faster. So we're going to say plus boost. And we can, boop. I had someone yell at me the other day for using my mouse in Vim in comments. I don't use it a lot, but I do use it. Let's see how this works. And expected token on line 54. 54. What? Oh, if else. Not if else. Just else for that. Yeah. There we go. So let's see. I can make him rotate the other way. I can go up. I can go down. I can go left. I can go right. I can hit my boost button. And he's not moving any faster. So let me double check that I... Oh, nope, see, it's button 2. I remembered wrong. So actually it is working. I could just need to hit whatever button 2 is, which is this button. There we go. The other red button. So, but I want it to be the blue button on the KeyJoy control panel here. So I think I just said it was 2. Refresh this. There we go. He moves a bit faster now. Diagonally. And if I let go of that button, he slows down. Spin the other way. There we go. And now, he can go off our screen, which it's okay if it goes off a little bit. But we don't want to lose sight of our astronaut. That would be bad if we lost our astronaut. So let's go ahead and write some code to affect that. Make sure he doesn't go too far off the screen. Now, his center point is right at the center of his image. So that's where he's rotating. So I'm okay with him going halfway off the screen. So what we need to do is just make sure whatever his center point is doesn't go less than 0 on either axes, or greater than the width or height of our game. So that should be pretty simple to do. Now I could put some sort of if statement into our movements here, but there might be other movements that we give him that might cause him to go off the screen. So it's better, I think, to just create a if-then statement down here completely separate, so that anytime he goes off the screen, it moves him back to the edge of the screen. So what I'm going to say is, if our for our astronaut, his x is less than 0, we're going to say that our astronaut, his x equals 0. I could probably do this as an if-else, but I'm just going to do a few if statements. Let me just... Oops. So we're going to say if his y, or no, yeah, that's not. Let's do this. Leave that as x. If he's greater than our game dot width, which the game width will be whatever our game width is set to. So if I go into here and in our shell here, I should be able to paste that command, and it tells me it's 1280. It's good to use this variable because if I decide to resize the game, I just need to resize it, at the very top here, and using that variable, that I don't have to change it other places. So if I set it to 1280, always use variables when possible. So let's just see. So if his x is greater than game width, then set his x equal, this should be equals to 0, and this should be equals to game width. And what we'll do here, I'm going to paste in this. I'm going to say y, and that should be right for the 0, but for this we're going to change this to height, so our game height. Go into our game, and now, if I did everything right, let me grab my joystick here, and if I hit my boost button, he should, at the top of the screen, nope, something's wrong. Did I get the X and Y mixed up? I did save this, I did refresh that. So if his X is greater than that, so let me see. Right now, he's at negative, and if it's less than 0, it should equal that. Make sure I save that. Let me make sure I refresh this. What am I doing wrong? I'm inside the right function here, right? It's less than... Oh! These should be single. I'm not checking, I'm setting. There we go. F5. Here we go. Now, everything should be working. There we go. So he gets stuck on the edge of the screen there, and if I go up, he should get stuck up there, and we'll start moving him over and down. And he's not off the screen. Like I said, I need to resize my background image. I'll probably do that later. But yeah, so he is constrained to our game. Now, let's create... I want the game to talk to her, and I don't want to use recordings because I want to be able to change what it says, and she has friends coming over a party. I want to be able to, with my phone, remotely change the usernames. I'm not going to get into that too much, but we are going to use some text-to-speech, and as long as your browser supports it, you can do text-to-speech, and I think most browsers do now, so Chrome, both on mobile and desktop, I'm pretty sure Firefox does, I think Internet Explorer does, and I'm pretty sure Safari does. All the major browsers, I'm pretty sure at this point, do support it. I'm going to do text-to-speech, HTML5, and this little code right here. So real simple. I should be able to grab this, and here, paste this in. Let me turn my volume up, so I'll run that again.
Hello world.
Hello world. And I've had this problem on my computer before. It seems like it has an accent. It's defaulting to another language. Probably something in my settings, either on my computer or my system or on my Chrome. But we can set the language here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add that in.
Hello world.
So there we go. So now we have a little robotic voice that can talk. And I have learned with functions like this, you want to, and somewhere here you can say, make sure that that function is available in case you have a browser that doesn't support it. I had an issue a few months back. I was writing some code that saved to local storage, and people with iPhones were having problems because I didn't say if local storage available, and if they had iPhones and they had set to private mode, unlike most other browsers that make a temporary local storage, it just won't let you, and it crashes your script. Thanks, Apple. Which my fault. You should definitely be thorough with your script and use, if-then statements to check stuff like that. But it'd be nice if they were a little more flexible, like most browsers. So just to be sure, we're going to add this into our code. So going back here, we're going to create a whole new function. And let me just check. Anyone chatting here? Do you use a shortcut for in Vim for :W? I know I just typed :W. I usually set my Vim RC file to ignore case for that because it's very common for me to hit :W, but I don't think I ever did that last time I set up my system. But anyway, let's go function speak and variable of message, and we'll paste our code in there. Let's see, where's our, so we're going to say, and really what I'm going to do here isn't 100% proper in the way that you would do it, because I think you only need to create the voice once and then send it separate messages. So I'm actually creating a function that is not necessary, but anyway, I've already started doing it this way. I'm going to do the rest this way. Let's go ahead and grab this and indent that. So really I should be able to just call, no, utterance, this is fine writing it this way. Let's go ahead and type in MSG here. So now Oh, is that bad that I used MSG twice? Let's see if that works or if that causes a problem. Refresh our code. We're going to type in speak. Hello, people.
Hello, people.
Perfect. Okay, it works. At least in my browser it does. Let's see. So at the preload, while the game's loading, although it loads pretty fast, we can say speak exiting space station. So while the game's loaded, it says exiting space station. So she's coming from a different scene, because I guess I'm going to make multiple scenes for her. One might be inside the spaceship. When she goes this one, it can say exiting space station. And then we can say, once it's loaded, speak, I don't know, I'll probably change this message, but welcome to outer space Ember. And again, I can make the user a variable that I can change remotely so that when one of her friends walks up to the game controller, I can, with my phone, very quickly change the username and the computer will start talking to her. That's my goal. But for now, let's just put this message in here. Whoops. Yeah, obviously I didn't do that case-sensitive thing that I was talking about.
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space Ember.
Okay, so besides, there's still stuff I'm going to add to this, but this is probably where I'm going to stop for tonight. And I'm going to add a lot of, like, again, background sounds, like in some sort of outer space ambient sounds, and like booster sounds when he's moving around, and maybe some recordings of communications, and maybe more with the computer talking. I want, again, there's the joystick and 6 buttons on the controller. I want to, and for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, let me show you again. Hi, this is me on a very, very cheap webcam. Sorry about the quality. So yeah, this is the game controller I made. Again, it has an ESP8266 chip inside that's connected to this screen here. So I can, through Wi-Fi, through HTTP request, control this screen, this message. In fact, you know what? Let's do that here in a moment. And then we got buttons that light up when you press them. And I want every button to do something so that she can hit any button and something happens. So let's go ahead and real quick, all right, that ESP chip I have a static IP set for. Let me real quick here open up the terminal. I think it's this 12. All my ESP chips I put in the 10 range, so it's going to be 10, 11, or 12, but let's see. 192.168.1.12. Let's see. Films by Chris. And yep, that changed the message. So again, this is set up from my local network, but you can see it now says Films by Chris. And if I change that message, I can say this, yeah, this is cool. And you can see it now says this is cool. So let's incorporate that into our game. When she presses the booster button, let's have it say power boost or something like that on the screen. So really, let me add in learn jQuery. I usually use jQuery for my whatchamacallit, Ajax commands. So we'll just say get post. Well, this, here we go. Is this? That's. Let's see. Let's do. I do this all the time. You think I would know? I do know. Let's just do this. Instead of using a local script, I'll put in this. And I'll add that into my Vim index file right here. And now I should be able to, whoops, not that. There we go. I'll add in a, here I should be able to say doc document.ready function Do I even need to do this at this point? Let's see. No, I don't need to do document ready for what I'm trying to do. I just need jQuery. I'm just so used to doing that. Let's just delete all that. And up here, I think I should be able to, when this is pressed, although it will send it multiple times with a button press like this. Huh. So my issue is if I use a Ajax command, jQuery, to send a get command, and I put it in this loop, it's going to send it multiple times when as long as the button's being pressed. I don't want that. So what I can do is, let's do this. I'm trying to think this out. Var message message set, whatever, I'll call it something else later on if I want, 0. So we'll say if it's 0, then send a message, and then wait a certain amount of time before clearing that out. Okay, so let's create a function for sending messages. That's what we'll do. Function, we'll call it matrix because it's a matrix screen. Matrix MSG. We should be able to just say $get, and then our URL, which was http://192.168.1.12, I believe it was. And MSG, we'll just say equals test for now. And then we can have a function, something happen, and the reply will be data. And we'll say console.log data, which in this case will be, it will reply test because my script replies whatever text you send it. Let's save that. Let's see. Someone says, does the controller use an Arduino or some other microprocessor? So the controller, the game controller part, so I'm answering comments in the chat room. The game controller, the buttons and the joystick, if you watch a previous video, and again, I'm going to have at least 3 videos of the process of me making this coming up on my second channel in the coming weeks. But there's 2 controllers in here. One controller for the gamepad, which goes out through USB. And when I ordered these buttons, it was called like Easy Button Arcade or something like that, which I already did an unboxing of this. If you look back on the videos on my channel, the buttons plug into it, and it plugs into USB, and it's automatically detected as a default or a generic game controller. The LED matrix screen is being controlled by an ESP8266. Now I could have used an Arduino in here, but the ESP8266 development board is $3 and change, and it gives me Wi-Fi capabilities. And so the game controller board is powered through USB, and it had extra plugs on it that were labeled 5 volts, so I spliced a wire into the voltage in on the ESP, and that's how it's being powered. So it's all being powered through the same USB. So I could plug this into a cell phone charger through the wall, and this screen will work, and the buttons will light up. It just won't be sending a signal to any computer at that point. Theoretically, I guess I could have made like a wireless controller using the ESP, but wires are fine sometimes. And someone else said, with Linux non-low, see how to deal with Linux. I don't know what that means. Okay, so let's check our code here. If I come here and I refresh this, and
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space, Ember.
Thank you. I type in matrix and I run this. Yep, that worked. That changed my screen. and it's just looping through, just says test, 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 over and over and over again. Oh, it's Italian. Okay, that's why I didn't understand what you're saying. Again, occupenti. Let's see. What were we doing? Okay, so yeah, we have that. We have a function now that works. Let's change that function, and we can actually send it this way. We should be able to send it in a JSON format. So MSG, MSG, because we're passing it text here. So let's go ahead and save that. Go back to our game, refresh it.
Exiting space station.
And this
Welcome
time,
to outer space, Ember.
we can put in our message. We can say, this is a test of the LED matrix. And when I press enter there, and I'll bring up my camera here, it should. This is a test of the LED matrix. So, our function works. Let's incorporate it into our game real quick. Again, we still have to think about the whole button being pressed situation. So we created a variable called message set. And what we're going to do here, this is a cheap way of doing this. I'm going to say, when you run this, we're going to take message set and set it to 1. And then we're going to say, if message set, oh wait, we'll do that after. Message set equals 0, then run this function. Okay, so it will be, and then we're going to say else set it to 1. And then I can use a timeout here, which is not the best way to keep timing, but the timing on this is not very important. So we're going to set it so that you can't send a message more than once every, we'll say, 5 seconds. So let's do, so it should be, I'm so bad at remembering this command. So JavaScript set timeout is actually not time intervals, but timeout. So set timeout method, we're going to say, so we'll say 5 seconds, so 5,000 milliseconds, so a second, or 5 seconds, I mean. We will then reset this to 0. So even if we try to send another message, this thing's going to say, oh, nope, a message was just sent within the last 5 seconds. And this might still cause a problem because we might actually end up setting a whole bunch of timeouts here. Let's actually, duh. Put it inside this if-then statement. That fixes that problem, or should. Let's see if it works. Go back to our game here. Oh. Well, let's actually incorporate it into the game. Well, we can do a test run here. So I'll send a message that says test2, and then I'll say test3. Oh, it looks like it sent. Did I refresh the page? I didn't refresh the page.
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space, Ember.
So test2. Okay, my screen says test2 now, and if I try to send test3, that worked, but I gotta do it within 5 seconds. Let's see. So I'll wait 5 seconds for it to clear out. So it says test2. No, it says test3. It didn't work. What are we doing wrong here? Anybody know? Oh, knocking stuff over. Okay. So it only sends the message if message equals 0. I guess, let me see something here real quick. Refresh this.
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space, Ember.
We'll send a message and then we'll say message set equals 0. It shouldn't equal 0. It should equal Oh. Psh, psh, psh. That's not right. Duh. Okay. P. We don't need the else. Now let's see what happens when we go
Exiting space station.
message
Welcome
3.
to outer space, Ember.
Yeah, see, it's not sending it the second time. Okay, that's good. I have that working now. So now we should be able to use our matrix. And we'll go up here to boost. And so if our boost button is pressed, we'll say matrix. And we'll say power boost. And if we did everything right, we refresh this.
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space, Ember.
Thank you. And let's see. Here we go. Oops. And come over here, click in here. Oh, didn't want that to go full screen. Escape. Okay. So, this is my boost button. So let's see what happens when I press the boost button. Let's have him moving. Boost. And the screen says boost. It works. Power boost. Now I should probably add a function that adds it back to the default message or something after a little bit, which we could actually probably use. So here we can use our set timeout to not only change our message set, but we can also do this. Is it bad to have the function call itself? That could cause an endless loop, so I probably shouldn't do that. That's probably not advised. But we'll send a message here, and we'll just set it back to our default message, which is mission control to Ember. So let's see if that works. F5 here.
Exiting space station. Welcome to outer space, Ember.
So it still says power boost from before because we didn't have any sort of reset. So I should press that. It's going to say power boost, and then in 5 seconds it should go back to the default message. Again, sorry about the, yep, control to Ember. So now let's see what happens if I'm pressing that and moving. It still says power boost. And if I'm still pressing the button, it does send, every 5 seconds it's still going to send another HTTP request. It's actually sending 2. It's resetting it and then sending it to the message again. That's not a big deal. To every 5 seconds have across my local network, have a message sent. So there we go. And when I let go, after 5 seconds, it says control to Ember. Mission control to Ember. So, I think that's all I'm going to do tonight. Let me quickly back up my code. So, add, I'll just say scene 1, well, it's not really complete. Scene 1 working. There we go. So again, if you guys want to go to github.com/MLX1000, go to my repositories, the one called Ember's Space Mission. That code is there now. And before I leave, let's see, we got some people talking in the chat. It might be worth considering a short message queue, so you can put a few messages in and queue them one after another. Just a random thought. Yeah, I actually plan on not only having the game be able to send messages. Obviously, since I can do this through HTTP, I'm going to have a preset set of commands on a different web interface that I'll be accessing over my phone, so that while my daughter's playing or whoever's playing, I can press the button on my phone and have it send that message. And again, maybe even have it speak, since we have that speak function built in. But yeah, a message queue is a good idea. Get a base case, and you can call the function on itself. Okay, I'll have to look up what a base case is. But yeah, you're probably right. But what I got works. Good video. I came in a bit late. Thank you. No problem. Be sure to watch the whole thing. Again, I'm trying to get into this whole live video thing. Like the cheap little webcam here that doesn't stay in focus and is all pixely. But I thank you all for watching. All 7 of you. Yep, that's seems to be the number I usually get on these live videos is 7. But yeah, if you're watching this later on, oh, you know what? I just realized, is it showing the title from the last video I did? It defaults to that. I should rename this Space Station Game Controller Code. Sorry about that, now that I'm done. And let me update that, let's see, the GitHub page. Where am I going? I'm going here. GitHub. Add that, and does it automatically save that? I might have to change that. Sorry if you guys... When did I start YouTube? I started using YouTube... I started doing videos 09, because that's when I tore my bicep. You'll see in my earliest videos I've got a sling on because in karate class I caught someone's kick and my bicep popped up into a little ball up here, and I had to have it surgically pulled back down and drilled through my bone. It was a lot of fun. I don't suggest doing it. But yeah, that's when about the same time I started doing videos. At first I was just uploading home videos, and then I did some tutorials for a friend who never watched them, and other people started watching them. So yeah, it's been 6 or 7 years now. But I just started doing live videos. This is my 3rd one. I just started doing them last week. So yeah, I plan on doing more. And again, once I get more comfortable with live videos and I have some sort of, I might, I'll give people a notification ahead of time that I'm going to do live videos on a certain date. Probably I'm thinking Tuesday mornings, because Tuesday mornings my wife and kids are out of the house for a couple hours. Like right now I'm doing it because my kids are sleeping. My wife, is getting some things done, and then we're going to watch TV together, which is what I'm going to go do here in a couple of minutes. The yikes, yeah, I'm assuming that's because of the bicep thing. Yes, it was not fun. And not even just the pain, because as long as I kept my arm like this, it didn't hurt at all. It was trying to sleep, because my arm would go, and I'd wake up. There was probably like 2 months there where I wasn't sleeping, very well. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching. If you're more interested in this arcade controller, I go through the entire project, putting it all together. I think I made 3 videos, and that's coming up in a month or so. They're scheduled to come out on my 2nd channel. So be sure to check out, I'll put a link in the description of this video. I put a link in the description of most of my videos to my 2nd channel, which is mainly on hardware. And then I'm going to put all this together. In those videos, I don't go into the LED screen too much, because I have a whole series coming up on using not only this screen, but like 5 other different screens, both with the Arduino and the ESP chip, which is nice having the Wi-Fi, be able to send messages to a screen. But if you want to get ahead on that, if you do go to my GitHub page, so github.com/MetalX1000, click on repositories and click on the one that says hardware, and you can look under either Arduino and go to displays, and then there, or yeah, probably this one's, it's under LED matrix, and I've got some code there. And if you go back up all the way, I have the similar code under displays, matrix, scrolling text, fixed. Oh, and then this matrix portal is basically the same code. It still needs a little bit of work, but it turns the ESP into an access point, and gives it a captive portal, so no matter what page you go to, it brings you, the goal is to bring you to a page where you can connect it. So right now, in this screen, when I plug it in, see if I unplug it and plug it back in, it doesn't come on right away, just because of the order I put things in the code. It's trying to connect to my Wi-Fi now, and once it's connected, it only takes a couple of seconds to start scrolling. But if it never connects to my Wi-Fi, that message doesn't come up. So I have this particular thing set up for at my house. The goal of the Matrix portal is that instead of this hooking to your Wi-Fi, it's going to show up as an access point that you connect to with your phone through Wi-Fi, and then if any page you try to go to, or it should on your phone, give you a captive portal screen that is the interface for this. So that would be a more portable option of this. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, check those out. And yeah, if you look at the code here, all you have to do is change the SSID and password for your local Wi-Fi, and then connect to it through its IP address for that. And you see the default. That's the code right there for that little chip. Yes, Occupanti is my last name. Yeah, and I know it means painted eyes. The camera's not that great, but I've got really nice eyes. Yeah, and that's probably the only Italian I really know. So, and I say my last name Occupanti, which I think is the American way of saying it. Maybe you can tell me. I think in Italian you're actually supposed to say Occhipinti. At least I've heard that before. So maybe you confirm me. Is it Occhipinti or Occhipinti? Or is both of them wrong? So option 1, Occhipinti, which is how I say my name, or option 2, Occhipinti. Or option 3, I'm wrong. So anyway, thanks for watching. And again, check out my second channel. I have videos on all this hardware coming up, and both the controller and the screen. Check out the links in the description of this video. And have a great day. You guys, let's see. Turn this